Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And always glad to have with us in studio when he makes a chance to get down here. We appreciate it. Representative Garret, thanks for joining us again today.
Hey, thank you. Great to be back.
I appreciate it. So welcome back to the South. I know you got family down here. It's always good to see you and see you be present with those people you care so much about.
Well, it's awesome being home, especially the contrast it is to Washington, D.C. It gives me faith in humanity to be back around normal people again. So.
I know that's right. Normal down in the South. Some things you don't always hear together, right? A lot of things going on. Always appreciate your input. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening up on the Hill with energy.
Yeah, so energy has been just outrageous. I mean, we've all experienced it, whether it's higher gasoline prices. And Keith, just to remind you, the day that President Biden took office, the lowest gasoline prices in Louisiana were about $1.74 a gallon. Let's say that again, $1.74.
Right.
And you look now, and the lowest prices are probably $2.74. Yeah. And we've seen prices go as much as double what they were when President Biden took the oath of office. And so you look at it and you say, well, what's going on? And you've seen how they have stopped offering new leases or new energy production right here in the Gulf of Mexico.
Right.
And all this is being done because they're saying, oh, well, we need to get off of oil and gas. Well, the reality is even the Biden administration's Department of Energy says we're going to need oil and gas for the next 50 years.
Right.
So why not get it where it's cleanest? Why not get us where it's safest? Why not get it where you create economic activity in the United States, which, believe it or not, the cleanest energy, some of the cleanest energy in the world is in the Gulf of Mexico. So they've refused to offer new leases or new areas for energy production. We have legislation called the Bridge Act, which forces the White House to continue producing energy in the place that's safest and cleanest. That way we can not only meet our own demands here in the United States and bring prices down, but also help out our allies that are still buying oil and gas from Russia. Like,
right.
This is crazy. Russia, which then using the proceeds to go invade Ukraine. I mean, it is the most backwards energy policy I've ever seen, but we've got some solutions that are moving through the process. We're going to try and force the White House to do the right thing.
Yeah, let them listen to what's cleanest and cheapest even. Let's do the right thing. It's pretty obvious.
Hate to bring common sense sometimes.
Yeah, way too logical, way too logical. So we appreciate that, which leads right into all of the work that we're doing down here. Morganza to the Gulf is just one of those projects that finally, nationally, people are going, oh, well, this is a roadmap to what we should do.
It really is. And look, whether it's the aggressive actions, and I mean that in a very positive way, of the levee district, the parish, the state coastal protection restoration authority, everything from the community deciding that they're going to tax themselves to move this project forward, to us finally breaking the logjam. As you know, this project's has been a federal project since 1992, yet they spent $75 on studying the project. They spent $0 on actually constructing it until we came in and finally broke that logjam. And now we have well over $400 million. In fact, we're approaching $500 million in federal funds to complement the funds that the state has put forth, the funds that the local community has taxed themselves in this project. And it is amazing. And we did something that was really innovative a few years ago. This project was estimated to cost like $15 billion. In fact, I think if you added inflation, it was probably going to be closer to 18. We were able to force a reanalysis based upon how the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District, folks like Reggie Dupree and the entire Tony Alford and the entire board had built sections of the project, and we were able to demonstrate how the project wasn't going to cost 15, 18 billion. You could actually do it for 2 or 3. And so it allowed us to get dollars. It allowed us to get this project moving forward. And it's just been awesome. But it's building upon the success of what the local folks have been able to do. And as a result of the tax that the local community voted to impose upon themselves for protection.
Right. And the partnerships, when I echo it all the time, and I know you're aware of it as well. Terrebonne and Lafourche working so very well together to make this happen and say, all right, where we need the money, where are we taxing? Okay, let's do this. And they've been a one unified front. And you've been able to kind of push that forward through the state, through the national government, which we appreciate.
Well, look, that cooperation is absolutely critical. We've seen from Hurricane Katrina and other examples where one parish was only focused on themselves, and they may stay dry, but they cause additional flooding in adjacent areas, and that regional cooperation is absolutely critical.
It really is. And so one of the things that I know is probably as illogical as talking about energy is this redistricting proposals and the mapping that just when I saw the maps, I thought, okay, there's one that's really logical here, and there's several that are not.
Yeah.
Tell us where we stand with that, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah. So look, every 10 years you have a census, which then requires the state legislators to draw new congressional boundaries based upon how the population has shifted. So the state of Louisiana took about 18 months. They did public hearings, they did road shows, traveled all around the state to get input, and they passed new maps that went into place for the 2022 elections. And there were small changes. There was nothing substantial, and they've worked out well. In about 3.5 days in January of this year, without any requirement by the courts, the Louisiana legislature came in and drew new maps. The new maps literally connect Thibodaux to Texas. It splits up the Bayou region in ways that make no sense. You have a district that goes from Ascension Parish, where Gonzales and all that is, going up to Livingston Parish, where Denham Springs is, going to Baton Rouge, then going to Monroe. You have another district that goes from Ascension Parish around Donaldsonville into Baton Rouge, goes up to Shreveport. I mean, it's like a kid with a crayon drew this thing. It doesn't make any sense. The court's going to throw it out. And of course, this is not good for the Bayou region. And I do want to thank Representative Burl Amity and Representative Fontenot and Jerome or Z Zarang, all those folks that spoke up and just said, look, this doesn't make any sense, and opposed it. Really do appreciate Senator Alain, some of the others who opposed this and fought against it.
Well, we're thankful that there's a voice of reason. We're thankful we can go to you and ask for those and to fight for those things. And so we appreciate it. Always glad to have you down here, which is really great.
And Senator Fessy, because when I'm naming names, I got to name them all. Sorry about that.
Bring Big Mike in. I want to do that. We thank you for your time. As always, we know how important it is. Appreciate you being here.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou time when we continue right here on HTV.